Alrighty. Looks like things are up and running here. So, welcome back. We are back with some more Pokemon Run&Bun Hardcore Nuzlocke. Continuing on from where we left off at, where we made it past the Mount Pyre tag battle against Archie. So, upon completing that, now we have access to one of the hardest sections in the game, which is Team Magma Hideout. This is my first time ever getting this far in a run, and this section of the team is very notorious for requiring some sacks, just due to the type of sets and items that the enemy trainers have. They're all basically built around being very gimmicky and annoying, making the fights super risky. So yeah, let me show off the first fight here. The first fight just already starts off with a very risky set with the lead Quick Claw Exploding Torkoal, which is always fun. And focus bands, so that's basically why. So there's just every enemy trainer has like some sort of gimmicky item or move, like focus bands, quick claws, explosion, all of that sort of stuff. So it's very difficult to find riskless lines for these fights. And the first one is already a doozy, because I'm basically already risking a quick claw explosion on the first turn. But I'm feeling pretty confident. These fights take a little bit to plan, so I don't know how many fights I'm gonna be able to get through today. If I could get through at least like 2 or 3 in this session, then I'll be perfectly fine with that, because there's a lot of trainers in this section of the game. So yeah, why don't we head in and take on the first trainer, see if luck's on our side here. I forgot about this OST. That's a really cool OST. Alright, there he is. Alright. First trainer of Team Magma's Hideout. Let me just triple check I have all the right items equipped. Dragon Fang, Cherry Berry, Zoom Lens, Metal Coat, Citrus, and Soft Sand. Yeah. Alright, well, let's go and see if we can come out of this first. I'm already risking a sack on this fight, just to start off even with the first trainer, so let's see what happens. Alright, Team Magma Grunt. Alright, so this guy leads a Torkoal to set up Sun permanently throughout the whole fight. And he's got a Quick Claw with Explosion. Which basically he has like a less than 1% chance of just deleting my Hydreigon from existence. Draco Meteor can one-shot. If it gets a Quick Claw and doesn't go for Explosion, we're still perfectly fine. We just do not want to see Quick Claw Explosion here. That would be very, very sad if that does happen. So, if we don't see a Quick Claw, then we're perfectly fine. So, let's see. Yep, there we go. No Quick Claw. Perfect. Alright, so Torkoal goes down. That's the first luck check of the fight here. Alright, then this should always be bringing in... what's its face? The Tauros next. Alright, so Tauros comes in. It sees a guaranteed KO with Play Rough. So we're gonna swap directly to Infernape, which can always live a crit. So there's Play Rough. Yep, just like I said, we always live a crit. It's... So now, from here, we can just simply outspeed and one-shot the Tauros with either close combat or either close combat or overheat. Doesn't really matter, but probably overheat would be better here. So yeah, let's overheat. Will one-shot the Tauros because of the sun. See. Ernest Edits, what's up in the chat? Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you dropping in. Hope you're doing well today. Alright, so this should next always bring in Charizard. Alright, so Charizard here. It's holding a Bright Powder, giving it a chance for you to miss with your moves, and also has Belly Drum. But right now it sees a guaranteed KO with either Dual Wing Beat or Earthquake. So I'm going to swap to my Omastar, which can take either hit very well. And Omastar does not have... it has Shell Armor, so it can't get hit with a critical. So we'll swap in on a random move here. Alright, so Earthquake. I think Earthquake was actually more preferred. Just for the baiting here. Noivern 8595. How's it going? Thanks for dropping in the chat. Hope you're having a good day today. Alright, so to combat this Charizard's Bright Powder, my Omastar is holding a Zoom Lens, which if you move seconds, counteracts the Bright Powder, making me still able to always hit. And I can one-shot with Power Gem as it goes for another Earthquake here. And we always lived due to Shell Armor, so we didn't have to worry about crits. So Charizard goes down. This should always bring in Hisuian Arcanine. Perfect. And this guy's the other big luck check, because this guy is holding a Focus Band and deals a ton of damage with Rock Head, Head Smash, and Flare Blitz. But right now, Arcanine only sees a KO, and it also has Reversal with Howl to boost its attack, and then if it gets a Focus Band proc, it can use Reversal to deal a ton of damage. I don't really have a way to safely negate the Focus Band, so what I'm gonna do here, Arcanine is guaranteed to go for a Head Smash for the KO on my Omastar. So I'm going to swap to my Excadrill to take the Head Smash. and ideally not get a critical hit here for later on in the fight. So even more ideally, we would like to see a miss here. So yeah, but either way, Excadrill can take a head smash here very well. Alright, so there's a head smash. Up, there's a crit. It's very nice. It's alright, it just makes things, it just adds just slightly bit more risk. So, but now Arcanine sees a guaranteed KO with Flare Blitz, so I can't use Howl. And I needed to guarantee a Flare Blitz, because that's the only move from this Arcanine that my Golisopod can safely take without dying, while still proccing the emergency exit. So I'm going to swap to my Golisopod here, and again, to reduce risk, ideally I don't get critical hit or burned from this incoming Flare Blitz. So we will swap here. So there's a Flare Blitz. Okay, perfect. No critical hit, no burn. That's ideal here. So we get emergency exit. This allows us to bring in our Seismitoad without taking any damage. And basically, my way of dealing with this Arcanine is just hope that Seismitoad doesn't get unlucky and gets a bunch of Focus Band procs. It's only a 10% chance. If he gets 2 in a row, I'll most likely have to sack Seismitoad and then try to take it out with something else. So right now it's gonna go for a Flare Blitz because, again, it sees that I can one-shot it, so I can't use Howl. So I'm gonna use Mud Shot, one to get a chance to KO, but if he gets a Focus Man proc, it'll lower its speed and then I can outspeed on the next turn, getting another chance at taking it out. So hopefully we just see Mud Shot just one-shotting here. Oops, another critical hit. Nice. Now, was that 3 critical hits this fight? Dang. Okay, well, okay, good. So no Focus Band proc at least, but the critical hit there is also not ideal for the next baiting. But I think it should be fine. Last up is a Grand Bolt here. Let's see, I'm at 86 HP. So yeah, I think right now it sees a KO with either Payback, Earthquake, or Play Rough. So that's should be perfectly fine here because Golisopod can take those moves pretty well. And I used the Citrus Berry to get my health back up above half to be able to proc another Citrus Berry because I need to be able to get in my Excadrill safely. So we'll swap in here. Hopefully we'll see a move that'll drop me to emergency exit range. Alright, good. Alright, so I think this Earthquake should do it. Oh, no. Oh, yeah, no, it takes Earthquake very well. That should be fine. Because I don't think Golisopod's at risk of dying to a crit. So yeah, I could just let it hit me again with a Play Rough. Max roll Play Rough crit does 108. Yeah, so we always live that. And it'll always proc emergency exit. So we can just go for a first impression. It's not necessary, but we can do it just before we get swapped. So Clara. As always, proc emergency exit. So now we can bring in Excadrill. And then now we can just simply outspeed and one-shot with Iron Head. Alright. It's... Whew! First fight down. We had 3 critical hits there, but... still made it out with no deaths, thankfully. Alright. So, good start, good start. Let's go ahead and heal back up and save. Alright, let's see. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at fight number 2 here. I kind of looked at it a little bit. So I have like a sort of game plan for it, but I still need another look at it. Let's see. So for this fight, we got sturdy Aggron lead, also holding a focus band with stealth rocks and counter, which is just a great combination of things. But I think I have a couple options here. If I could knock off the focus band with something like Crustle, because it's very likely to just go for stealth rocks on the first turn. I could then swap to Excadrill to then rapid spin off the stealth rocks and then KO on the next turn. And if I do that, that would put me at +1 speed. Which means... I could potentially sweep, but unfortunately the Viper here has a quick claw. Yeah, so... I would have to use something else. Because I would risk dying to a... Well, I think after taking the damage from Aggron, I would still be risking death even to a non-crit. So... yeah, no one has a... focus sash or anything. So I could go I'd most likely be baiting only Fire Blast or Earthquake, so I could go... Let's see, who would be a good... good counter for this guy? I have a few options. Light score could be good, but I risk dying to double Fire Blast crit. What's up in the chat, you guys? Zelda Man, God's Outdoor Boy. Thanks for popping in, you guys. Hope you guys are having a good day today. Yeah, no, this screen might look a little confusing to you, but I'm doing a challenge for a Pokemon game called Run&Bun. It's a custom-made game that makes the game extremely difficult, and I'm doing a challenge called a Nuzlocke, where if Pokemon faints, they cannot be used. So yeah, I'm in the middle of trying to plan out the next fight I'm about to do, which requires the use of a calculator here to literally see exactly how much damage each move can deal to ensure victory with the least amount of risk as possible, which with this section of the game is like extremely challenging because all the fights in this section are extremely risky. Let's see, I guess I could... if I swap to Gliscor, I could knock off first the Quick Claw and then outspeed KO with Earthquake on the next turn. This would most likely bait Electivire for Ice Punch, which I can use probably Arcanine to deal with. Or Ice Flavor 69, appreciate that comment, bro. I'm currently just started Team Magma Hideout. I just beat the first grunt. Yeah, this is my furthest attempt so far. So this whole section's all pretty much new for me. So yeah, that's what we're doing right now. Do you run Run&Bun yourself? Let's see, I could Galissapod emergency exit at some point here. To bring him in safely. Let's see. What about Dragapult with the life orb? Doesn't quite. Let me see. I mean, I was already considering using a card skill for attack anyway. Yeah, no, I definitely hear that. It took me a while of playing this game to like get to the point where I feel confident enough to actually stream it. I've done hundreds of attempts offline for this game, but I feel like now I'm finally at a place where like I feel like I understand all the mechanics and how they work. So, and this run I got pretty blessed with a pretty awesome box. So, if I play my cards right, this run could definitely go all the way. I just gotta make sure I don't make mistakes anywhere, which is easier said than done. But yeah, when I first started, it was like just trying to get out of the early game, but it's a fun game. I like the challenge, so yeah, I definitely encourage if people are into Nuzlocking, just to like give it a go. Yeah, like this box, like, I mean, I got Sneasler with a plus speed nature. I landed the Dragapult. I got a Game Corner Hydreigon. You know, Excadrill, Togedemaru, Galissapod. Basically, like, kind of like all the staples that you would want for Marina. All the sought-out encounters that you would want at this point. Majority of them, I was lucky enough to get. So, if I do lose this run, then it's completely because of my lack of skill or foresight. So, yeah. So I just gotta make sure, especially, I mean, this section though is definitely a huge challenge against that because of just all the focus bands and quick claws and explosions that these guys have. Let's see, I could go. So after I KO Electivire, I'll be baiting Ice Punch. I could swap directly to Sneasler, which would then bait a random move from Marowak, which wouldn't be that good, but I could go could go Marowak and tank any move. Yeah, because Marowak shouldn't ever be able to go for substitute here, since it sees a slow KO. Let me see. Double check the substitute AI. Yeah, substitute is only ever +6 if you're not asleep or beach seated, so I shouldn't have to worry about substitute here. Yeah, I mean, thankfully at this point, the game's been out long enough now where the AI document for the game is pretty well versed. Like it, when the game first came out, people didn't really have the knowledge of exactly how the AI worked, but at this point, we pretty much know all the details you need to know on how the AI chooses its moves and what to switch in next, so I have all the knowledge available to me to be successful. It's just, you know, at this point it's just up to your own creativity and understanding to come up with a winning line, given all the criterion. Yeah, because, like, for example, in this case, Marowak has the move Substitute, but he'll never use it because he sees a KO with either of its moves. If it didn't say KO and it didn't see that I dealt more than half of its health and damage, then it could use Substitute, which is a huge problem. But in this case, I don't have to worry about that. So yeah, I could swap in Hydreigon on a random move, even a Flare Blitz crit, outspeed one shot with Dark Pulse, bait, Flamethrower, or Will-O-Wisp. I don't know, beta, Dark Pulse, or Will-O-Wisp from Houndoom. And then let's see, it might actually be good to pre-status Hydreigon, so that if I don't get burned, Houndoom wouldn't be able to go for Will-O-Wisp. Let's see, how much damage would I take if that happens? Let's see, max roll Flare Blitz crit deals 62.7. 7%. And then first turn Toxic would deal 6.25. Second turn Toxic would deal 12.5. So I would live at about 18.5%, which would bait a random either Dark Pulse or Flamethrower. But let's see, could Golisopod take either of those? Let's see, Golisopod is now at 224 HP. So I'd have to be at 111 to proc emergency exit. Plus low roll, flamethrower would deal 78. So that'd be 189 HP. Max roll Dark Pulse only deals up to 184. Alright, perfect. So I could use Galistopod here on either move to get my emergency exit back to Sneasler. And then just one shot with close combat. Alright, cool, yeah. So I think this plan sounds like it should work. So, just to recap, we lead Crustle to knock off the focus bands. Swap to Excadrill on either Stone Edge or counter. Rapid Spin to clear off the Stealth Rocks, and then KO with Move. Which would always bait, since I'm at +1 speed from the Rapid Spin. I show that I outspeed and one-shot everything. So then, because of that, it would always bring Viper in for either Flame Blast or Earthquake. You can swap to Gliscor to knock off the Quick Claw into KO, baiting most likely Ice Punch from Electivire. So I could go directly to Sneasler with an Aspir Berry, KO with a Fake Out into Close Combat combo, baiting random move from Marowak. Swap to Pre-Toxic Hydreigon to KO with Dark Pulse, baiting Dark Pulse or Flamethrower potentially from Houndoom. Get emergency exit, and then go back to Sneasler for the KO. So the only really big risky thing here is the potential Quick Claw double crit on my Gliscor, which would not be ideal here, but I don't think I have any other better options here. Yeah. Let me see if I get burned from Fire Blast. Knock off into Earthquake would still potentially KO. But majority of the time we should win that matchup. So yeah, because it's also it would be a 50-50 between Fire Blast or Earthquake, so it's not guaranteed Fire Blast on the first turn. So the odds of getting Quick Claw Fire Blast crits would be very low. But I should probably hold a... Should I hold either a Rost Berry or a Citrus Berry? Probably a Rost Berry, since I will be having 2 turns. Majority of the time we should win that matchup either way, and we can go straight to Sneasler. Yeah, so this should all work out. Yeah, so just run through one more time. Lead Crustle, Knockoff, Focus Band, Break Sturdy, go Excadrill, go to Rapid Spin into KO. Fates. Random move. Okay, yeah. I don't think I'm missing anything here. Go you, bait you. Go you, KO, bait you. Emergency exit back to you and KO. Cool. Okay, I think this should work. Let's go ahead and formulate it. Alright, so we need, for this fight, we're keeping Hydreigon, we're keeping Gliscopod, but we need Crustle. We need Excadrill and Gliscor. And then we need Sneasler. Go use the bathroom really quick, so I'll go use that and then come back. Let's do this here. Alright, so per items, I don't think we need items for these guys, but we could use Rost Berry for Fly Score in case of Fire Blast burn. And then we want Aspire Berry for Sneasler in case of Ice Punch Freeze. So we don't need an item on Hydreigon, but we do need to pre-toxic, so I need to remember to do that before the fight starts. Yeah. I mean, I guess I could give him an Oran Berry. Doesn't really matter. Just to prevent Houndoom for going for Will-O-Wisp. Pre-toxic would prevent flamethrower burn, so I don't have to worry about that. Yeah, so I don't need item for those guys. I just need a pre-damage Golisopod to 189 HP. Perfect. And this should all be good. Let me just triple check the line one more time. Depending on if Fly Score gets swapped in on either a Fire Blast or Earthquake, could determine whether or not I should go for a knockoff or Earthquake myself to be most optimal. But I think the baiting would make me still bait Electivire even if I was at full health. So, should be fine either way. And if I am at full health, then Electivire is very likely to go for Maggot Rise instead of Ice Punch. So that's another thing That's nice about this line. Yeah, this looks all pretty good to me. Yeah, again, actual crit Flare Blitz on Hydreigon plus 2 ticks of Toxic should never KO. Just triple check that one more time. Minus 6.25. Minus 12.5. Yeah, Hydreigon will always live. And because of the Toxic, I'll always bait an attacking move from Houndoom. Either Dark Pulse or Flamethrower. Guarantees emergency exit back into Sneasler for the KO. Yeah. This all looks good. So, no items lost. As per none. Alright, cool. I think this should work. Let's go ahead and go do this next fight. Grunt number 2. Way. Alright. And then make sure pre-toxic before the fight starts. So we beat this guy. Where is the next trainer at? I don't want to run into them accidentally. Oh, there's an item here. Oh, camera update. Unfortunately, I exploded my camera up, so cannot use that. Alright. Alright, here's the next trainer here. One step. Okay. Let's pre-toxic. Hydreigon. Perfect. Let's save. Alright. Triple check all my items. Frost. Aspire. 3 toxic. 189 HP. Alright, so this should be good. Macro Grunt number 2. Alright, so this grunt leads an Aggron with Sturdy, and is holding a Focus Band with Stealth Rocks and Counter. So basically the idea here is that the Focus Band, if it procs and you deal a physical attack, it'll just one-shot any of your mons. So what we're gonna do, right now, the AI is very, very likely to set up Stealth Rocks. So I'm gonna knock off the Focus Band, getting rid of it, and then also breaking its Sturdy on the first turn. Oh. That was a very unlikely... So that was like a 1 in 60. But... Cressel has... We would always live a Stone Edge crit. I think this should be fine still. I'm now baiting a random move, so it shouldn't be able to use Stealth Rocks here. But we definitely don't want to see Excadrill taking a heavy slam here. So, but we still have to swap. Let's see, don't go for heavy slam, please. Ugh. getting some pretty bad luck here. Don't crit, at least? Okay. Alright, so no crit should still be fine. The problem is here, though, is that stealth rocks are not up. So the Aggron's, it doesn't see a KO, so it can still likely set up stealth rocks, but the problem is that I outspeed. And I need to raise my speed with rapid spin to maintain the line, because I wouldn't be fitting in the right mon if I go for the KO right now. Yeah. So let me see. Let's see, I'm at 186. If I go for the KO now and don't set up rapid spin, that means Electivire outspeeds and sees a guaranteed KO with cross chop. So I could still go directly to Sneasler and go for a fake out into close combat. That would still bait Marowak. I would still have to go Hydreigon, Dark Pulse. Hydreigon shows outspeed and one shot on the Seviper with Draco, so it still goes Houndoom. I can still swap to Sneasler. And then I would still be baiting a random move from... so it'd be Seviper would come out at the very end. But I would actually be... that would make it less likely for it to go for Fire Blast. So that actually might be less risky on my Gliscor for the 1v1. But the problem is that I could also be potentially baiting Gunk Shot. But I think a Gunk Shot would still be fine. As long as I don't get hit with a Fire Blast on the first turn. It should still be fine, so... yeah, I think it's actually safer for me to go for the KO here, since Stealth Rocks are not already up. Yeah. Yeah, because... yeah. Electivire, Excadrill KOs, Aggron, we bait Electivire, go Sneasler, KO with Fake Out into close combat, bait... oh no, actually... Sneasler would bait Seviper. So then if I KO then with Gliscor, that would bait... yeah, because after I would KO the Electivire Sneasler, that would bring in Seviper, since I would show a slow KO. So then I would have to do... and that would probably be better, since I'd be taking less damage. So it'd be very, very likely for it to go for Earthquake, which would be a perfect switch to Gliscor. Gliscor baits Houndoom because of showing that I could one-shot with Earthquake on the Marowak. Oh, but then the problem is that Gliscor is not statused, so Houndoom can go for burn on the switch to Golisopod. So I can't do that. Yeah, I have to maintain this line. Okay, so I have to. Yeah, I have to go for a rapid spin just to increase my speed. So basically the plan here is I have to keep using rapid spin, and since I already outspeed it, I have to basically do that until I get attacked, basically. Once that happens, then I can go for the KO, and then my original line is still intact. Yeah, so we're gonna have to go for that here. You could go for counter too. Yeah, so there's Stealth Rock. So basically, I need to repeat this process until he attacks me. Yeah, so Heavy Slam. Don't crit, please. Thank you. Alright, so now we can KO. And this will always bait into Viper, since we outspeed everything. And so Viper will be going for a random move. Yeah. Yeah, so we go for the KO here now. So Stealth Rocks are not up. We should always be baiting into Viper next. Good. So there's the Viper. It's gonna go for a random move. We can't go for the KO because it has a Quick Claw, which if it activates, my Excadrill's dead. So I need to swap to Gliscor. Ideally on an Earthquake and not a Fire Blast. And if it is Fire Blast, we will let us not see a Fire Blast crit here, so let's hope it goes for Earthquake here. Yeah, so Fire Blast, don't crit, please. Okay, good. Alright, so what we could do now to circumvent the Quick Claw, we can go for Knockoff first, and then KO with Earthquake, preventing the chance of a double Quick Claw proc. Because if that happens, then Gliscor would also be KO'd. So at this point, Fire Blast crit is perfectly fine because we'll always live, and if it does burn, then I'm holding a Rossberry to heal that. So we'll go for Knockoff into Earthquake for the KO. So Fire Blast. Yeah, so there's the burn. We have a Rossberry. Alright, and then now we can go for Earthquake KO. Alright. And then this will always bring in Electivire next. Alright, then Electivire should only see a KO with Ice Punch. Yeah. So it's guaranteed to go for Ice Punch here. So I'm going to swap directly to Sneasler, who can take an Ice Punch crit, and I'm holding an Aspear Berry in case of freeze. So we'll do that here. Yep, so there's a crit, like I said. Man, we're getting a lot of crits. But now we can KO with a Fake Out into Close Combat combo. Electivire goes down, and this will always bring in Marowak. Perfect. And Marowak sees a KO with any of its moves. And it can't go for a substitute because of that. So it's going to go for a random move. All three of which is perfectly fine to swap Hydreigon into. And we're toxic to prevent a Flare Blitz burn on the switch in here if it goes for it. Yeah, so if there's Flare Blitz, that's what we accounted for here. Alright, so now we can just outspeed and one-shot with a Dark Pulse. Alright, so Marowak goes down. We take a little bit more Toxic. And this just leaves Houndoom last. And Houndoom here, the other reason why I needed to pre-Toxic Hydreigon is so that Houndoom cannot go for Will-O-Wisp here. If it had not seen a KO with Dark Pulse, like if Marowak didn't go for Flare Blitz there, it would have a chance to go for Will-O-Wisp, which I can't have because I need to proc Emergency Exit on my Golisopod, but the pre-status here prevents that, so it has to go for Dark Pulse here, which is also Dark Gem boosted, but Golisopod will always live a critical hit and proc Emergency Exit for us here. So we're going to do that on this switch. Yep, so there's Dark Pulse. Yep, so there's Emergency Exit. And then now, with that, we can now bring in Sneasler back in without taking any damage. And we could just outspeed and one-shot with Close Combat. Whew, alright. Pretty good, all things considered. I got some I got some pretty bad luck on that fight too, but we still managed to come out pretty clean. Alright, so let's head back out again. Go back and heal. Alright, so 2 fights down, that's pretty good. I think if we can get one more fight done here, that'd be pretty nice. Oh. Where's the pictures? Oh, there we go. Yeah, if we could, I think 3 fights done would be pretty nice, but I haven't taken a look at this this fight yet, so depending on how long it takes for me to prep this, I might have to save it for the my next stream. So, because we have another Focus Band Stealth Rock lead to deal with here. And I also have. It also has poison points, so if you use knockoff on it, you could potentially get statused. But I think Gliscor could be a good counter to this guy. is I could knock off the focus band and then KO with Earthquake. And I would always live... Oh, I am dead to max roll Fire Punch crit though. I mean, max roll Ice Punch crit. But that would be... What would that be? It's 1 in 60 for Nidoking not to go for Stealth Rock on turn 1. Times... 1 in 16 times 1 in 16. So what's that? 1 in 60 times 2 1 in 16s. Yeah, that's a 1 in 15,000 chance, so... I don't think I need to worry about that. If that does happen, I think that would be a very unfortunate thing to happen, but most of the time that should not be the case. I could hold a Lumberry in case of either Poison Point proc or Ice Punch freeze if it does go for it. Either of which should always bait Slacking for Retaliate, because if I'm at full health it would outspeed and outdamage me, which the Aerodactyl doesn't. Yeah. So it should, after that it should always be Slacking. Disguised as a Zoroark. So I could just go... And it does have an eject button too, so don't have to worry about that. I could go... maybe Dragapult? Or... yeah, this fight... I mean, there's a few ways I could deal with this Slacking. Yo, what's up, Rachel? Good to see you again. Thanks for dropping back in. Hope you're having a good day today. How do I want to deal with this Slacking? So I could go Dragapult to outspeed and proc the eject button, which would bait... that baits. Probably Aerodactyl? Because it's... I outspeed and outdamage both the Camerupt and the Zoroark. So it'd be Aerodactyl for either Dual Wing Bait or Rock Blast. I could go... I could go Electrode, hit a Volt Switch. Into Obstagoon and KO with Sucker Punch. That would probably bait Slacking again. And then I could do like a pivot dance with, say, like since it's gonna go for crunches, I could go do damage with something like I could protect. I could do protect pivots with Omastar. As goes for Truants. This would bait. Oh yeah, and if I do that, then I could bait Camera Up to last to prevent it from going for Explosion. That would actually be really nice. Okay, so let's see, let's recap here. Knock off into Earthquake, the lead Nidoking. Bait Slacking for either Double Edge or Retaliate. Go Dragapult. Activate Eject button to bring in let's see, actually I could go Omastar on the Truant turn. And then protect. And then proc. I could proc Eject button with Omastar. This would bait Focus Blast Zoroark. There's a lot of different angles I could play here. Yeah, Dragapult, Omastar on Truant, protect. On the Truant turn, I do some damage to get the emergency button. Emergency button switches out if you get hit. Let's see, eject button. Yeah. So hitting eject button on slacking with Omastar would always bring out Zoroark for guaranteed focus blast. I could go. If I KO'd with... there's a few options I could use against Zoroark. I could use... and you won't go for Pursuit. I don't know, we'll start either, so that's good. Let's see, Sneasler... Wood Bait... either Dual Wing Beat or Earthquake. From Aerodactyl. Which actually would be a perfect pivot for Electrode. So, let's see. These are on the Focus Blast. Outspeed one shot. Bait either Dual Wing Bait or Earthquake into Electrode. Volt Switch onto a random move into Obstagoon. And then KO with Guts boosted Sucker Punch. This would always bait Slaking again for either Retaliate or Double Edge. I could go back to Slacking. Go back to Dragapult. Swap to Omastar on the Truant turn, and then do Protect. Protect pivots until I KO, leaving which leaves Camera Blast, and I can just one-shot with Surf. Alright, so I think this should work out. It's very technical, but it should work. If I swap Obstagoon pre-Toxic on a max Dual Wing Beat crit, that'd be 100 minus 48.5 minus 2 ticks of toxic. 6.25 minus 12.5. 32. That could potentially be earthquake from slacking, but that should be fine. Yeah. So let's recap here. Knock off into earthquake, KO the Nidoking, bait slacking. Into normal type move, into Dragapult. Go Omastar on the Turant. Protect, then hit with Surf to proc emergency button. To bait fast KO. Focus Blast from Zoroark. Go Sneasler to KO. And I should hold a black belt. So that way I guarantee. Actually, no, I don't. Oh no, that doesn't matter. Aerodactyl always outspeeds in one-shots. So we go straight to Electrode on random move into Volt Switch. Volt Switch random move into Obstagoon. Free Toxic to then KO with Sucker Punch after the Volt Switch, which would bait Slacking, random move into Dragapult again, go back to Omastar on a Turant, pivot, protects until I KO, and then KOs with Hammer Fist. Alright, yeah, I think this should be a good line here. So let's get this set up here. And I think for this one, it might be good to teach Sneasler Brick Break to KO the Zoroark instead of with close combat. Yeah. Because let's see if I get Max Roll crit, Focus Blast. Actually, I don't think that matters. Because Max Roll crit, Focus Blast would never put me into a range of the other moves. So yeah, let's set this up here. So we need we're gonna lead Gliscor. We need Dragapult. We need Electrode. We need Omastar, Sneasler, and Obstagoon. And then we need Lumberry for Gliscor. No item needed for you or you. I don't think I need any items on these guys. me just double check this range here. So Sneasler does get max roll focus blast crit. That would be 100 minus 37.3. That'd leave me at 62.7%. After a close combat, I would still only be baiting Earthquake or Dual Wound Beat. Okay, yeah. So we're perfectly fine there. Yeah, for future purposes, I should probably go, because I have Sneasler having learned Poison Jab right now in the calc, so I should probably do that now before I forget. Over natural gifts. Alright, and then the only thing I need to remember to do is to pre-toxic Obstagoon at the start of the fight. Because since Aerodactyl has a King's Rock, the priority on the Sucker Punch would prevent me from getting flinched. Alright, so yeah, this should be everything that we need. Yeah, no citrus berries are needed. I just need the Lumberry for the Gliscor, which is the riskiest turn in the fight, but I think we should be fine. The only thing I'm really risking is a Ice Punch max roll crit on the first turn if the AI does decide to attack, which is only it's only a 1 in 60 chance of happening. Which, I mean, it did happen on the last fight, but it not going for Stealth Rock and then getting a max roll crit would be a 1 in about 15,000 chance of happening, so that seems very fiction to me. Alright, let's see, next fights. Okay, no ambush. I got a little scared there. Alright, next fight. Alright, over here. Alright. So that's pre-toxic Obstagoon. And this will be my last fight for today. Alright. Again, we don't need any items. Let's save. And triple check my line one more time. So they knock off Earthquake. Fate Slacking. Into normal type move. Go. Dragapult first. Omastar on the Truant. Protect. And attack on the Truant turn to proc emergency button into Zoroark Focus Blast. So then go directly to Sneasler on a Focus Blast, outspeed KO with Close Combat. Fate Fast KO from Aerodactyl. Go Electrode, Volt Switch into Obstagoon, KO with Sucker punch. Okay, slacking again. And then do the pivot chains. Alright. Whew. A lot of very technical stuff with this fight, but we should be fine. Let me just triple check one last thing. Yeah. Alright, I think we're good. Let's go ahead and do this here. Alright. Magma grunt number 3. Alright, so this grunt is also leading a stealth rock setter with a focus band equipped. Which... let me see. I'm gonna go for Earthquake here. So this will always bring in a slacking, which will always go for either boosted retaliate or double edge. So we can go to Dracopults to be immune to the normal type attack. Yep, so there's retaliate, perfect. Alright, so this thing is holding an eject button, so if I attack it, it's going to swap out. So the way I want to do that here, right now it's going to be on its truant turn. So I'm going to swap to Omastar on the truant's turn, so it doesn't take any damage. Okay, so it's loping. Now it's going to attack, so I can just protect on the attack turn. Yep, just like that. And then now it's going to lope around again, so I'm going to attack with Surf, which will activate the eject button and bring out Zoroark. So, emergency button is going to swap it out. And there's the disguised Zoroark as a slacking. Which sees a guaranteed KO on my Omastar with Aura Sphere, which my Sneasler can take very well, so I'm going to swap directly to her. Next, so there's a Focus Blast. Perfect. And now we're going to simply outspeed and one-shot with close combat here. So, break the illusion, so our arc goes down. And this will always bring in Aerodactyl next. Perfect. So Aerodactyl sees a KO with either Earthquake or Dual Wing Beat. And it's also holding a King's Rock, which, due to its super high speed, can flinch you. So to deal with that, I'm going to swap to my Hisuian Electrode, which can take either move, even if they both Maxwell crit. So we'll swap Electrode in here. So there's Earthquake. And then Electrode is actually the only thing in my box that could actually outspeed this Aerodactyl. So we're gonna outspeed it and deal some damage with Volt Switch, as it's gonna go for a random move. So I'm gonna deal the damage, and I'm gonna swap to my Obstagoon to take that hit. So Obstagoon will swap in, will take any move very well. So there's dual Wing Beat. And then now, to deal with the King's Rock, with the damage from that Volt Switch, a Guts boosted Sucker Punch will out-prioritize and take out the Aerodactyl without needing to worry about a King's Rock clutch. So Aerodactyl goes down. This will bring in Slacking back in. Perfect. And again, Slacking is going to go for a normal type move, either Retaliate or Double Edge. So again, we can just swap to Dragapult to take either attack here. Yep, so there's Double Edge. And now again, it's going to be in Truant, but it doesn't have its eject button now. So again, I'm going to swap back to Omastar on the Truant turn. And then I'm just going to pivot Protects and attacking moves until it is KO'd. And this is basically checkmate from here. So go for Surf. Protect on the another attacking turn. And then one more Surf will take it out. Which just leaves the camera up to last. And this camera up is the big problem with this team because it also has Quick Claw with Explosion, but because I baited in last, I can't go for Explosion. Even if it could, it actually wouldn't matter because Omastar can tank that. Due to Shell Armor, if it's focused, if its Quick Claw does proc, we'll live any attack, and we could just one-shot with Surf. So, this is checkmate here. Yep, so there's its Quick Claw. We'll always live this Earthquake here. And then Surf one-shots. Alright. There we go. Front number 3 down. Alright. 3 fights done. I'd say that's a pretty good amount of progress done for today. So, let's go ahead and heal back up and save, and I think I'm gonna wrap things up there for today. There's still a lot more trainers left to go, but each of these fights need to be done very carefully, so I'd rather take it slow and steady. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and end things there. But I appreciate everyone who tuned in to watch. I hope everyone has a great rest of their day. And I will see everyone in my next stream.